you see. And yes, there are people that get stuck in the astral plane because they have belief systems that hold them there. That's why it's better to move beyond your belief systems, because you can be held by them.
So what kinds of, like, for example, I'll just use the, popular Christianity, like the idea of hell and devil and all that. And so if you're a person that
and so a person dies,
they're going to go to hell no matter what.
Yeah, let's say a person dies and they think they've been really, really bad. All right? There'll be a white light there, and they might be afraid to walk into it. To walk into the white light, you end up on the other side. But to not walk through that light, you're stuck in what's called the astral plane. Everything gets to exist on the astral plane. All right? Everything. And that's where the boogeyman lives, quite frankly.
Sure.
All right? So you can create pictures of anything that's in your mind there. And you'll keep seeing it over and over and over again, torturing yourself. And people will come and say, you don't need to be stuck here. You can move on. Just walk into the light. But if you don't do it, you're just going to play out seeing demons and all those things that... Remember, everything that's created, including comic books, has a reality on the other side.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's funny you pull
all
that.
Fantasy. All fantasy has a reality on the other side. It didn't come from nowhere.
I've always kind of felt that way. Even when I was younger, I didn't like when people would talk about, like, animation or comics or anything. They just say, oh, it's not real. It doesn't exist. I'd always take issue with that. It's like, yes, it does. It exists. And I couldn't really explain why or how.
Well, if they're really religious, they prove to me that God exists.
Yeah.
Prove to me that God exists.
Yeah.
Show him to me. Where is he?
Right. Yeah. Right? What's this vengeful, wrathful God of yours? Yeah.
All right. There was a wonderful Seth Roberts was only book she wrote other than Jane Roberts. The only book she wrote beyond the Seth material was a book for a philosopher who spent his entire life trying to prove psychic phenomena. Something like James Thorpe. It was a British name. And it's the only book she wrote beyond the Seth material, because he came to her and said, please, this is my life's work. Somebody has to put this out. It's so important to me. And she agreed to do it. And he's the one that gave us the information that when he got to the other side, not only did he prove psychic phenomena was real, but he also proved that everything ever created had a reality and had a dimension to go with that reality. All right, so it came from, like, for instance, Greek mythology and the big, huge people. It is really believed that this planet was seeded by giants from another place. All right, and there's statues all over the place, like Easter Island.
Sure, the Moais.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that there's these huge, humongous beings. In fact, a man named Stitchin wrote a book called The 12th Planet. And he claims it's going to be coming back around in another, I think, less than 20 years. And that's the planet that these beings are on.
Interesting.
And so there's much written about that the Greek mythology came from true E.T.s. That's where it's from. And they did a thing recently on the Big Island of Hawaii, where when you look at the statues that are carved there in the place of refuge, they have alien eyes. Every one of them. And they claim that UFOs came here, and that's what created the Menihunas. And they brought beings here that they mixed, and that's why they honor the cosmos, and they have even dances calling in aliens.
Huh. Wow.
That's
interesting.
So indigenous people. So we aren't here to solve the mystery.
Right.
And yet, we did in the Piscean Age, which lasted for thousands of years, by the way, we're taught mind over matter, to use our minds, to advance our mind, to move out of being barbaric and to become more aware through our minds. Now we're asked to move out of our mind over matter and become more knowing by trusting more of our heart and intuition. Because that's the only way we can go back into being in a community with other beings without fighting each other.